dalam program Malaysia. Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brandon Paul and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines for tonight. PM reminds all parties to remain wary of COVID-19 while G15 campaigning. Users affected by LRT disruptions will be compensated. All parties involved in campaigning activities for the 15 general elections, G15, must always adhere to COVID-19 measures. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said they are encouraged to wear face masks, especially in public areas, despite it being no longer mandatory.
Dalam kita berkempen, sebab itu ada yang pakai mask pun ada sewaktu berkempen, ya. Walaupun itu tidak diwajibkan. Tetapi untuk melindungi diri kita sendiri, kitalah yang perlu memainkan peranan. Ya, kalau tempat bersesak-sesak, mungkin kitalah yang patut mengurangkan kesan yang buruk kepada kita. Jadi dalam kegarahan berkempen, jangan lupa COVID masih berada di sekitar kita, masih berada di sekeliling kita. Kita tak tahu siapa yang COVID punya pembawa ni di kalangan kita semua.
Now, a full test will be conducted tomorrow on the Kerana Jaya Light Rail Transit LRT line to ensure there will be no disruptions to the system before the service reopens to the public. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Dr. V. Kasyong said the opening date of the LRT service for the Kerana Jaya line will depend on the results of testing, which will start tonight.
Jadi besok kita akan cuba satu hari macam mana pengoperasian secara normal. Kalau dah boleh, tertakluk kepada pengujian audit yang dilakukan oleh pihak APAT di mana pakar kita akan memeriksa dan perlu mendapat certification pengesahan daripada pihak penghilang ataupun OEM iaitu Thales Group. Jadi saya rasa dengan cara ini kita mematuhi semua tata cara dan apa yang penting ialah kita gunakan perkhidmatan train laluan Kerana Jaya dengan selamat.
Datuk Seri Wee said if the service can be restored the next day, Prasarana needs to make an announcement at 6 p.m. to alert the public and to be ready. He said the Vehicle Control Centre, VCC, and Signalling Management Centre, SMC, have been identified as the cause of service system disruption. He added both components have been changed and testing was carried out yesterday involving 37 stations and 24 trains from Gombak to Putra Heights and was found to be positive so far. In a related development, Datuk Seri Wee did not rule out the possibility of elements of sabotage causing the disruptions in LRT services. He said he had a discussion with Prasarana Malaysia Berhad on Wednesday to look into the cause of the problem comprehensively and not just limited to technical aspects.
Setakat ini disebabkan apa yang kita lihat adalah kerana sistem dan signaling. Setakat ini, walau bagaimanapun, pihak kerajaan atau prasarana telah mengambil keputusan dan telah melantik sebuah syarikat perunding bebas WSP, sebuah perunding yang terima perunding yang memang disegani di peringkat antarabangsa menjadi konsultan kita untuk melihat semua aspek termasuk apa yang telah dinyatakan.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Wee said Prasarana will compensate LRT users affected by the service disruptions by extending the validity period of passes. He said the extension of the validity of passes such as My 50, which is an unlimited pass for rapid KL service users, will depend on the Prasarana management.
Kita telah membuat keputusan, kita memberi pampasan dengan melanjutkan mana-mana hari yang tidak boleh mereka menggunakan perkhidmatan, mereka bolehlah lanjutkan tempoh sah laku PAS yang telah dibeli, PAS My 50 dan sebagainya. Itu yang pertama. Kerana kita melihat tidak adil sekiranya seminggu dia tak boleh gunakan, dia tetap membayar. Jadi kita boleh lanjutkan tempoh sah laku berapa lama bergantung kepada pengurusan prasarana.
Kereta Api Tanah Melayu Berhad KTMB is providing alternative options for public transport users to the city centre following the disruptions of the Kerana Jaya Light Rail Transit LRT service since Wednesday. KTMB in a statement today said that commuters can use the KTM commuter service for the Port Klang route and the Sky Park Link service from the Sky Park terminal in Subang. It said these two services also stop at Rapid KL integration stations, namely Subang Jaya, Abdullah Hukum, KL Central, Kuala Lumpur, Bank Negara and Putra stations. As a public transport operator, KTMB continues to support and cooperate with Rapid KL in providing efficient rail service connectivity to users. The public can visit the KTMB website at www.ktmb.com.my or through the My Real Time application for more information on KTM commuter and Sky Park Link service timetables. And coming up, police bust cigarette smuggling attempt worth over 1.4 million ringgit. Stay with us. But first, Malaysia's economy grew by 14.2% in the third quarter this year, supported by continued expansion in domestic demand, firm recovery in the labour market, robust electrical and electronics E&E, as well as non-E&E exports and ongoing policy support. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM Governor Tan Sri Nur Shamsia Muhammad Yunus said the growth was partly lifted by the low base effect due to the strict containment measures in the third quarter last year. The governor said, given the healthy growth in the first 9 months of 2022, the full year 2022 growth will exceed the 7% that was projected earlier. She added Malaysia's growth is expected to normalise going into 2023 amid a more challenging external environment. She said what is important for the country is to secure its future growth prospects, to further strengthen the economic fundamentals and improve its resilience while pressing on with the necessary structural reform measures. Meanwhile, Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the services sector expanded 16.7%, manufacturing 13.2%, agriculture 1.2%, mining 9.2%, and construction 15.3%. Foreign direct investment rose to 54 billion ringgit in the first 9 months of this year against 29.7 billion ringgit in the same period last year. But inflows slowed down on quarter-on-quarter basis amid higher outflow from debt instruments. And in other news, actress Shazlin Zainal has died after a fall from the 22nd floor of the Taman Iskandar Apartments, Johor Bahru yesterday. South Johor Bahru District Police Chief ACP Raup Selamat said the 26-year-old Shazlin is believed to have fallen at 12:50 p.m. yesterday. The police were alerted to the incident by members of the public who discovered her body on the ground floor. He said the victim was pronounced dead by a Sultanah Aminah Hospital medical officer. He added the investigating team found no elements of foul play at the scene and the case was classified as sudden death. ACP Raub appealed to those who witnessed the incident to contact the Taman Pelangi police station or the case investigating officer ASP Matnawi Abdul Rahman at the number as shown on the screen. Police thwarted an attempt to smuggle 9,900 cartons of contraband cigarettes worth 1.48 million ringgit into the country in a raid in Teluk Ayer Tawar, Besut last Wednesday. This is the biggest seizure of contraband cigarettes in Besut so far this year. Besut Police Chief Superintendent Abdul Rozak Mohamad said in the 11:30 p.m. raid mounted by a team from Marine Intelligence Unit, several men were spotted uploading the cigarettes from a boat into a waiting lorry, but they immediately fled the scene when the team approached. Upon search, 198 cartons of contraband cigarettes were found in the lorry. Police believe the cigarettes were smuggled from the neighbouring country via sea route and to be sent to the customers outside Besut. Police are in the midst of tracking down the suspects and owner of the lorry. The case is being investigated under Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection E of the Customs Act 1967.
And on a lighter note, an exciting Japanese precinct, Tokyo Town, awaits shoppers in Pavilion Bukit Jalil, celebrating Japanese food, retail, arts and culture. Spanning over 77,000 square feet, Tokyo Town presents a cutting-edge yet tranquil setting for the best and most popular in Japan's retail offering.
Walking into the entrance of Tokyo Town, shoppers will be instantly greeted by two larger-than-life artistic sumo sculptures under the A grand floating temple roof and enhanced by giant Japanese umbrellas or wasaga. Shoppers are further guided into a shopping street also known as Nakamise, featuring cultural decorations such as traditional lanterns, beautiful sakura trees adorned with Tanabata wishes, as well as gorgeous kimono art tapestry on exhibit, transporting visitors directly to the heart of Japan. Shoppers can satisfy their Japanese cuisine cravings with a wide variety of F&B, from popular sushi dishes, deep-fried succulent meats, mouth-watering teppanyaki to Japanese street food and more. There are also plenty of choices to satisfy sweet-tooth cravings. Meanwhile, an amazing selection of Japanese retail awaits shoppers, whether getting the loved ones gifts from specialty store Gifoto, Ikigai and Aimi, or traditional wear at Harajuku shop or Wabi Sabi.
Japanese culture is a very fun. I quite admire Japanese culture as well. So, and then I like their fabric. Yeah, their patterns as well.
To have a Japanese feel. When people come in, I want them to feel that, that they've walked through a treasure trove where they can find Japanese items and Japanese-inspired items here in Malaysia. So we use a lot of yukata fabrics. We use a lot of Japanese fabrics like kimono to make into bags, to make into lampshades, to make into home items. And then we blend it in together with Japanese items like tatami or wicker. So we blend those things together.
Visitors can also immerse in the rich art and culture of Japan with specialty exhibitions such as the Japan Moment by Japanese creators, exhibition by Nippon Design School, exquisite origami exhibition pieces by Origami Academy, and beautiful bespoke floral arrangements.
In our foreign front, Indonesians march in Malang, demanding justice for stampede victims. Stay with us. But first, Chinese authorities today stepped up COVID-19 lockdowns and other curbs to contain outbreaks as the number of cases soared to its highest since millions of people were confined to their homes this year, with Beijing and Zhengzhou seeing record tallies.
The increasing number of infections saw tourist attractions closed temporarily in Beijing and snaking queues for tests form on streets. Most places in the Chinese capital are now requiring negative COVID-19 test results completed within 24-hour periods to enter communities, office blocks, and leisure venues. Residents are urged to adhere to current measures to tackle the surge in infections and look at the bigger picture, as having many people's lives further disrupted due to one infected person is detrimental to the local economic situation. Authorities reported 10,535 new domestically transmitted cases nationwide for yesterday, the highest number since 29th April, while Beijing recorded 118 new local cases.
Thousands of football fans protested in Indonesia's East Java yesterday, demanding further investigation into police conduct at a stampede that killed 135 people after a match in October. Protesters, some carrying coffins and signs that read, quote, "All this because of tear gas," as they march on the main thoroughfare of city of Malang, also call for the tragedy to be deemed a gross human rights violation.
Indonesia's Human Rights Commission has said police officers' firing of tear gas was the main trigger for the fatal stampede on 1st October at Malang's Kanjuruhan Stadium, the worst tragedy at a football match since 1964. Indonesian authorities and the Indonesian Football Association (PSSI) have faced questions over why police fired 45 rounds of tear gas inside the stadium, a crowd control measure banned by World Soccer governing body FIFA. 6 people, including police and match organizers, are facing criminal charges after the stampede. FIFA has set up an office in Indonesia to help overhaul safety measures as the country prepares to host the Under-20 World Cup next year.
A shooting left 9 dead and 2 wounded at a bar in the central Mexican state of Guanajuato, which has increasingly suffered from cartel violence. Local authorities yesterday said an armed group arrived at the bar around 9 p.m. in the town of Apaseo, El Alto, outside of Celaya, and opened fire on those inside.
A local who works in a public hospital near the crime scene, Pedro Lopez, said he heard 3 consecutive shots. 5 men and 4 women were killed in the gunfire and 2 more women were hurt. The assailants had not yet been identified, and units of state, federal authorities, as well as the National Guard, would be moved into the area. Apaseo El Alto's mayor, Montserrat Mendoza, said they need to double down on efforts to crack down on violence in the region. Guanajuato, an industrial hub, has been ravaged by turf wars between cartels in recent years. Last month, 12 were killed at a bar in the city of Irapuato, following a nearby shooting that left 10 dead in September.
Russia-based hackers were behind the cyber attack on insurer Medibank Private, which compromised the details of just under 10 million current and former customers. Australian Federal Police AFP Commissioner Reece Kershaw blamed a loosely affiliated group of cyber criminals likely responsible for other big breaches around the world for the attack on Medibank, adding that the AFP knows which individuals are responsible, but will not be naming them at this moment.
Kershaw said the AFP will be holding talks with Russian law enforcement about the individuals. Data from around 9.7 million of Medibank's current and former customers was compromised by the hack, and more personal details of customers of Australia's biggest health insurer were released today. The company had expected this to happen daily after it declined to pay ransom to the hacker. Medibank shares have plunged about 20% since the hack was revealed by the company on 13th October. Shares were up nearly 2% in late morning trade.
PJ City FC confirms departure from Malaysian Super League. That and more next in sports. After weeks of speculations, Petaling Jaya, PJ City FC finally confirmed their exit from the Malaysian Super League next season. Club President Datuk Seri Subhan Kamal said the decision was not due to financial reasons, but rather the direction of the restructured Malaysian League, M-League, in 2023, which would not augur well for the club's objectives.
He explained it is mainly due to the increase of the foreign import quota from 5 to 9 players, as PJ City is the only team in the M-League's first tier to field 100% local talent since the 2021 season.
But coming back to our situation, while respecting that, we also got to be practical. That it's not going to be easy. It's going to be struggle all the way. Even with 5 foreign, we're also struggling. But we're not worried, or we're not orang kata complaining, no. But with having more of these kind of conditions, it's going to be quite difficult for.
Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Subahan said the club owner welcomes any interested parties to take over the team rights and license to compete in the 2023 Super League. If no other parties are willing to take over PJ City, the 2023 Super League, which is supposed to have 18 teams, might only have 15 teams competing after Malacca United and Sarawak United failed to obtain MFL license due to financial issues.
Belgium coach Roberto Martinez yesterday included injured striker Romelu Lukaku and playmaker Eden Hazard in his 26-man squad for the World Cup in Qatar, saying he will give the former every second to regain his fitness for the tournament. Lukaku has been suffering with a hamstring injury, which, coupled with a thigh problem earlier this season, means he has played just twice since August and is currently sidelined for his club, Inter Milan.
Martinez has previously stated that as long as Lukaku could feature in one of the team's Group F games against Canada, Morocco or Croatia, he would take him to the tournament. Having named 4 players on the standby list, Brian Haynen, Alexis Sailmakers, Dodi Lukabakio and Jason Denaya, he has until 24 hours before Belgium's first game against Canada on 23rd November to draft them into the squad if anyone is not fit. Hazard has been mostly on the sidelines at Real Madrid this season and has not played in La Liga since September, having fallen out of favour with coach Carlo Ancelotti. However, he is a talismanic figure for Belgium, and Martinez has set aside concerns with his match fitness and form. Martinez has largely gone with his tried and tested players, but made some wildcard picks, including Everton midfielder Amadou Onana.
England included informed Leicester City midfielder James Maddison in their squad for the World Cup in Qatar, with forwards Callum Wilson and Marcus Rashford also selected yesterday.
Maddison and Newcastle United striker Wilson have not played for England since 2019 but have been rewarded for fine starts to the domestic season in the run-up to this month's tournament. Whether to include Maddison was the major talking point in the recent months, but the 25-year-old has since the start of last season been directly involved in 30 Premier League goals, 18 goals and 12 assists, with only England captain Harry Kane having a higher total among English players in this period. Manchester United's Rashford is another player who has found some goal-scoring form this season, which persuaded Gareth Southgate to bring him back into the fold after he last appeared as a substitute in the Euro 2020 final in July. Chelsea's Conor Gallagher is taking a midfield spot, while as Roma striker Tammy Abraham and AC Milan defender Fikayo Tomori did not make it into the final 26-man list. Manchester City duo defender Kyle Walker and midfielder Kelvin Phillips, who have both been injured for much of the campaign, are included, with Manchester United defender Harry Maguire also in, despite not playing regularly for his club. England begin their World Cup group campaign against Iran on 21st November and also face the United States and Wales.
And in tennis, Jack Draper raced to a 4-love, 4-1, 4-3 victory over home favourite Lorenzo Musetti early today to book his place in the semi-finals of the next-gen ATP Finals in Milan.
Despite an impressive season lifting trophies in Hamburg and Naples and climbing to the 23rd in the ATP rankings, Musetti was unable to find his form in the 21 and under tournament. Both players entered the match with 1-all records, requiring a win to progress to the semis. In front of a packed Italian crowd, Draper produced a ruthless display to silence the home supporters, punching holes in the Musetti defence with his fierce groundstrokes to advance. The 20-year-old, who is making his debut at the 21 and under event, flew out of the blocks, hitting his flat backhand through the court. The Italian, who took a tumble at the start of the second set, was unable to handle Draper's aggressive forehand and swinging lefty serves, with the Briton overpowering the Italian to earn his 19th tour-level win of the season. With his 56-minute victory, Draper has set the semi-final meeting against 21-year-old American Brandon Nakashima, who topped the green group tomorrow morning.
Meanwhile, Switzerland's Dominic Stricker continued his impressive start to the next-gen ATP Finals tournament, moving to 3-love to finish atop the red group with a straight sets victory over Sung Chun Sin of Taiwan, 4-2, 4-1, 4-2.
Stricker, who entered the tournament ranked 7, upset second seed Lorenzo Musetti and third seed Jack Draper in his first 2 matches, and will next face the Czech Republic's Jiří Lehečka, who finished second in the green group. Each of the first 8 sets Stricker played were decided by tiebreaks, including all 5 against Italy's Musetti on Wednesday evening. But the 20-year-old quickly broke that pattern against Sung in a match he dominated from start to finish. Stricker broke at the first opportunity in each set and did not face a breakpoint in sets 2 and 3. The opening set was the most competitive, with Sung closing to 2-3 by converting on his 5th breakpoint, only to surrender serve and the set in the very next game. Stricker finished with 24 winners in the 56-minute match.
The tight and twisty tarmac stages of WRC Rally Japan claimed its first victim early today after Dani Soto's car caught fire on stage and burned completely. Wrapping up the news at 10, our top story, PM reminds all parties to remain wary of COVID-19 while G15 campaigning. Don't forget to tune in to updates at noon tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Till then, it's lights out. Yang SAHIH di RTM, #MyPRU15. I'm Brendan Lepal. Thank you for watching and have a